Hey everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's just start with our opening prayer. Sorry I'm running a bit late today. Our team meeting overran. O Great Spirit, Father Sky, Mother Earth, the winds, the waters, my Father, my Mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives and we thank you for these good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended and our pain be lifted to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, Amen, Namaste. Okay, just going to jump right in here. Journey to Divine Love is saying, hey Sky, lately I've been finding it hard to show up at my current job. I'd like some guidance on whether or not it's time for me to find somewhere else. Thank you in advance. Okay, so the first, I'm going to pull a card for you, but I'm immediately seeing Archangel Michael nodding. So you already know you've outgrown this place. And there's still this dual belief system. You're still carrying this belief system from your family that this job is the best source of income for you, and it just no longer is, right? So they're showing me you have two options. One is to level up and negotiate a higher salary, and the other is to move somewhere altogether. But what I'm really getting is that you're just gonna, it's kind of like, when you're dating the same guy, well, jobs can be in different bodies. Well, it's exactly the same with jobs. You're just dating the same wealth consciousness in the under different job titles, right? So it's really important that if you don't feel like this is the right place for you, this is the right, this is your divine life purpose, then you genuinely shouldn't be there, right? And that's really important for you to understand. Your financial income needs to come from your divine life purpose so that you will grow. The gifts in your heart were put there by God for a reason. Okay. The card that came for you is we ask you to choose happiness today. We ask you to choose happiness today. So if you make the same choice to constantly put things in your life that will make you unhappy, then guess what? You will stay in that particular vibration. There was a beautiful necklace I was looking at getting the other day, and the words, I allow nourishment, were on it. So sometimes we're not willing to allow joy. We're not willing to allow happiness. And it's really hard, right? It's really hard when what we have to exchange for the happiness that we have prayed for is the toxic partner or the toxic friendship or the toxic job, right? Or the toxic belief systems. But that's the reality, that normally when we ask for something, God isn't actually adding anything to our life. God is taking away the things that are polluting a life that's already beautiful. Oh, jumping card. Like proper jumping card under my desk. Okay. So the card that came up was someone needs your help, be an angel for us, which means that you are you're being asked to start helping people and to recognize that people need you, right? They're asking you to be an earth angel. They're asking you to step into your divine life purpose. They're asking you to make space for that. Okay. Hi, Sky. Can I have a scan and healing on my scalp? I believe I have seborrheic dermatitis. I think it's linked to my gut, something I'm eating. Any insight, please? So they're showing me like fungus, a fungal infection on your scalp. So mixing coconut oil with some oregano oil and not strong, not essential oils, right? Like diluted down oregano, rosemary, lavender is gonna do wonders. If you have a fungal infection, you might need to go and get some fungal shampoo from your doctor as well, just to make sure that's completely eradicated. But what they're showing me is that you're washing your hair too often and it's damaging your scalp. You're not properly brushing your hair like 100 strokes every night. And the energy of a fungus is resentment, right? So as like an anger at having to take care of yourself because no one's taking care of you. This like, yes, something else on my to-do list. I've already taken care of everybody else and now I have to take care of me too. I'm not sure if it's ancestral or if it's yours, but my husband's been doing like rosemary oil for almost 10 years, 12 years now since I met him, long before it became fashionable on TikTok. And he's the only like 50 odd year old that I know that still has luscious hair. So, it's simple. It's simple to keep your hair healthy. It doesn't require lots of shampoos and potions. It requires a regular care routine. Bicarbonate of soda is very good for killing fungal infections on the scalp as well, but you need to be consistent. What you find is that most shampoos and conditioners and stuff contain huge amounts of chemicals that actually block your pores and block your skin, because they're covering it in products so the hair looks smoother or shinier or more voluminous or whatever, but then your scalp can't breathe, and then that causes hair loss. Not to mention it saturates your scalp with very nasty chemicals that block your pituitary gland and things like that from working properly. So switching over to safe and natural shampoos, switching away from washing your hair daily to washing your hair once or twice a week, and really being consistent. So if you have a fungal infection, you're going to need to like do bicarbonate of soda on your hair twice a day for, at least a week to clear up a deep fungal infection. Journey of divine love, saying, thank you so much, Sky. Walking away from the job is going to be the hardest thing for me to do. However, I know it's time. Thank you so much for the clarification. You're welcome, beautiful. It's funny because I was actually talking to my angels recently, because I had another very big breakthrough in growth month in the last month. And it's been so huge for me, the shift in vibration, that I don't even, like, my actions and habits have just changed dramatically. And things that I used to think were part of my identity are just gone. And particularly things like jobs, intimate relationships, they become part of our identity. It's like, this is how I prove that I'm a worthwhile person, that I'm a lovable person. And the reality is, when you heal enough, you stop trying to prove anything to anybody. You just start doing what God says, period. Right? But it's a journey to get to that stage. It's definitely been like almost a 20-year journey for me to get to this place. But yeah, any relationships always serve a purpose. Whether it's a job, a friendship, an intimate relationship, when love is being given and received, right? And when both individuals are growing, that relationship serves a purpose. That relationship stops serving a purpose and it no longer becomes real, which means that's when there's the breakup, that's when there's the leaving, that's when there's the end, when there's no longer love being exchanged between two people. And it's no different if it's a relationship, or if it's a friendship, or if it's a job, or if it's a family member. A relationship is real when love is being given and received, and it becomes an illusion when fear is all that's been given and received. Now, the love that you receive in that relationship or that job is always real. The love doesn't stop being real just because the relationship has changed form, but the form may no longer serve, and then that's why that particular form is dissolving. Right? It only serves if there's love and growth being given and received. And the moment that stops happening for a variety of reasons, then it no longer serves the highest truth or the highest purpose. It's just saying, thank you. Strange, because I don't wash my hair often at all, but I'll take your suggestion on board 100%. Start with a bicarbonate of soda. Sometimes this is like retrospective, like sometimes damage that we did when we were mistreating our hair like 6 months ago or a year ago is what shows up now. Very much like with minerals and vitamins. For example, me not being able to feed myself properly postpartum because of COVID and shortages and stuff like that didn't show up on the first 3 months when I had my baby. It showed up 6 months after, because that's when the cells that had been made when I wasn't getting the correct nutrition were the ones that had to be used, and when my immune system was weaker. So health is retrospective. The health that you have now is the health that you created last month, right? And then it gets created into the future. So your body's always slightly a manifestation of the past. Okay, Love Sanchez saying, such wise words. Thank you. Go back. The words ice cold Course in Miracles. It's just the form changes, but it no longer serves if there's only fear being exchanged. The love is always real, right? Even if the person says it wasn't. The number of times I've heard people say, oh, I never loved my ex-wife, or I never loved. The love was real at one point. Otherwise, that relationship would never even have been allowed to manifest. Right? It's just that that love is a choice that we make on a daily basis. And when the love is no longer real, then the relationship starts to dissolve. Okay, so Sarah saying, hi Sky, can I have a reading about any significant change in the near future? Thank you. Okay, let me have a look. I'm immediately getting like a celebration type energy. I have a feeling that you're dreading this when I'm tuning into your energy, but the what I'm picking up is that like your angels are actually dancing. And this reminds me of something that came up for me 2 or 3 months ago. There was a very big change coming in my business, and I was dreading it. I thought I wouldn't be able to face it or go on without it or create it. And the reality was that it was one of the best things that ever happened. But before it, I was dreading it. And then afterwards, it was amazing. And that's what I'm being shown is happening for you. You already have everything you need to succeed. Okay, you already have everything you need to succeed. This card comes up when we consistently looking outside instead of giving worth or value to the things that we already have and allowing them to blossom. So, I kept thinking, for example, with before medical intuitive. Sorry, I'm back, guys. The connection just glitched. Okay, so Sarah saying, hello, Sky. Can I have a reading about any significant change? Oh, we just did that one. Tanya's, so yeah, we just did that one. We're moving on to Tanya. She's saying, hi, a scan on what's churning in my field. I've been feeling a positive shift mixed with my current status, but I ran into an odd glitch starting a fundraiser for my friend who was robbed. Tanya, you're getting to, like, this is self-sabotage, girl. Like, you're underestimating how much energy it takes to run something like a fundraiser or how much energy it takes to like launch a new program. You're spreading yourself too thin. You're spreading yourself too thin. It would be easier to run the fundraiser and donate money to your friend than it is to try and do both of these at once. Like donation fundraising, like charity work, is like a full-time thing. So it's easier to become financially successful and then donate and invest in charities than it is to try and fundraise at the same time as becoming financially successful. They're two very different vibrations. The vibration of fundraising is like asking other people for money because you don't have it, which sticks you in a position of lack. Whereas the energy of donating money or gifting money because you have it to bless other people with is a vibration of abundance, right? So it's not mutually exclusive. You can still help people in whatever way you choose, but I wouldn't ever recommend dropping something like, your main projects or your divine life purpose to focus on fundraising for somebody else. I would just increase the amount that you're manifesting for this current project. Sari saying, hi Sky, can I please have some insight on what my gifts and divine life purpose are? Yep, let's do it. Okay. So I'm saying yes. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah. And the good thing is, like with business, whatever you give to people, whatever you donate, that's a tax deductible thing as well. So it's a double blessing. It's a win-win. Whereas when you go into this energy of begging for money or not having enough, and I do this on a consistent basis as like what they call like an invisible investor, or an angel investor, right? I donate anonymously to people, and to charities, and whatever the angels, etc., tell me to do. So I think yeah, it's just a much more empowering place to be coming from, of knowing that you will always receive more than enough. So just add it to what you're manifesting. Don't get sucked into, I have to beg people for money when I'm in trouble energy. And your friend was robbed, so she definitely has deep unworthiness issues, right? Also, please post Archangel Michael, etc., around you for protecting your assets. Okay. Number 47, when you help us, you will feel the joy that we feel when we help you. It's true. Like there's nothing that gives more joy than service, you know. Stop giving mixed messages to your unconscious mind, guys. Literally start telling your unconscious mind that you have unlimited energy, that you are well able, that God's greatness and goodness is manifesting through you. One of the biggest reasons that I have the success that I have and I have the abundance that I have is that while so many people are focused on manifesting money, I am focused on manifesting the glory and the greatness of God, for God, by God, and credit going to God. I am not here to manifest the money that I think I need, because not only because I know that God will provide for every need more abundantly than I could ever ask for and wish for, but because I know that there's so much programming and so much conditioning that chances are that I am still dreaming too small, that I'm still underestimating myself. That's been the case at almost every stage of my journey. And the only deepest truth that I know is that God is not underestimating me, and that God will not underuse me. So the more I keep saying, God, use me for your glory, God, use me for your greatness, God, use me to manifest your goodness on this earth, the more things come. Like it rains, because it's that energy. I'm getting goosebumps all over. It rains abundance, it rains money, it rains time, it rains connections, it rains opportunities, because I am in this space of trust and service and flow. And God also knows that whatever he gives to me, I will like take care of, I will cherish, I will be grateful for. I'll be in the grace of that. So it's a big paradigm shift from I need to manifest this so I can get this, so I can get that, which is very much controlling the process, to God has already created all of my lives on every single level. And he already knows his greatest glory and manifestation for this particular physical experience, this particular multidimensional incarnation. And I choose to be the embodiment of that. I choose to be the manifestation of that. I choose to be in God's glory and God's greatness, and to spread that goodness on earth every day. And that just creates energy. It creates peace. It takes away this, oh, I have to do this to get to there, to get to there. It's really, really powerful. Journey to Divine Love is saying, hi Sky, I have a spiritually based business. I'm apprehensive about merging my business with my mom and my sister. It's a long story that I can't fix into this text. May I please have guidance on this? Yeah, do not do that. Do not do that. Do not merge your business with your mom and your sister. Do not do that. Do not. You're completely correct. Your intuition is 100%. Do not do that. No. No. Start another business with them. The card you got is our strong arms will hold you close and protect you. Start another business with them if you want to start a business, but do not give them yours. No. Mm-mm. I'm getting such a strong no. No, they don't have the discipline. They don't have they do not understand your worth. They do not understand your gifts. This is like, no, just a cold hard no. This is not a good idea. If you really must start a business with them, then do it completely separately. But business is a lot like marriage, and I say this with the deepest level of love and compassion. You can do a business project with somebody without going into business with somebody. Those are very different things, right? A business project is like when you're working on a masterclass or you're working on one particular course or whatever. A business where you're actually in there with somebody, like you have a legal responsibility for those people's actions. If they don't understand how to do administration, customer service, insurance, what's it called, integrity for their actions, you're responsible if you have a company or a business with those people. So it's like having children, you know, unless you really have deep trust, and even then you need like really strong contracts and stuff in place, because their mistakes can really damage you. So by all means, do business projects or start another business, but do not give anybody yours. Do not let anybody into yours. That's what I'm getting guided for you. It's not always the guidance I get, but that's what I'm getting. Okay, Veronica's saying, hi Sky, the teachings or these readings are amazing. You're welcome, beautiful. Thank you for your generosity. Any advice to heal my eyes? The blurriness is progressing quickly. Thank you. Eye bright, liver flush, and looking at where you are using like weaponized incompetence so that you can't see what's really happening in your life. Right? Whenever your eyesight starts to go, it's because you don't want to see. It's too hard to see. It's too hard to look at. It might be your financial situation. It might be your relationship situation. When we do not face our fears, fear is cumulative. Fear is progressive, just like diseases are. So when you don't address it at the earlier point in your journey, it grows, right? And then you're like, oh my God, I thought if I just ignored it, or if I just, then it wouldn't still be there. I thought it would just go away by itself. Right? There's a difference between not giving something power and ignoring it. If you guys know about the rice jar experiment, the rice jar experiment is where they like labeled rice with positive words and then with hateful words, and then there was one jar of rice that they ignored, and the jar that they labeled with positive words lasted the longest. The jar that they put hatred on went off within a couple of days, but the jar that they ignored went off almost overnight. Right? So ignoring and not giving power to are two very different things. Ignoring is giving fear to, it's avoiding, it's anxiety, it's this energy of neglect. Not giving power to something is sending it love, watching it dissolve, knowing that what's it called? It's a manifestation of an illusion. They're two very different things on a vibrational level, and humans often confuse the two. And when you confuse the two and you're sending the energies of like neglect and anxiety and worry towards a situation, it just grows. It grows in negativity as well. So it's really, really important when you're clearing up eye stuff to not ignore the real issues and to face them, and often to get help. So if you're a person, like one of the best things I ever did was invest in having people who would protect me, a customer service person, a legal person on retainer, exactly because my zone of genius is this with you guys. It's not dealing with, protection. I don't have to deal with my body's immune system. I just have one. It's the same thing with your business. It's the same thing with your with your assets. It gets to a point where you're allowed to have protection, and you're worthy of it, right? There's not one celebrity on the planet that doesn't have protection, that doesn't have security, and that manifests in different ways. But it's that worthiness that we're looking at here. If you don't feel strong enough to stand up to this person or to take control of any codependent relationships, I have a feeling somebody's really got you under their thumb in some kind of an intimate relationship. So you might need to ask for help. And that might mean going to Citizens Advice Bureau. It might mean, it might mean however many things. But just feel into your heart, what kind of protection do I need? And we're going to call on Archangel Michael so that you allow yourself to have it. There we go. Okay. I'm only able to stay until 2, guys, because I have another appointment for a healing session at 2. I'm going to get through as many as I can. I'm sorry I was late today. The team meeting really ran over, and it wasn't something I could just leave. So here's saying, I'd really like to request guidance about my primary divine gifts and abilities. Okay, so I'm immediately seeing like clairsentience, instant healing gifts, like touch healing, so things like Reiki, channeling, and I'm also seeing like claircognizance, like you just look at people and you know the truth about them. Hi, Sarah. Yeah, I kind of go to where the angels tell me to go, particularly if I'm not if I'm limited on time. So you might not get your questions answered on every reading, but I get to as many as I can. I just answer the questions that are going to help most people who are listening as well. Nancy's saying, any messages on clearing blocks to trusting my intuition? Thank you. This is a persecution wound, my love. This is a persecution wound. And what happens? So the angels, the card that you got is share your problems with us, we will hear you. Right? Share your problems with us, we will hear you. And the guidance that I got is that whenever you go through, like, whenever someone tortures you or somebody abuses you, there's a transference of energy. They take their self-hatred or their shame and they project it onto you, which is energetically means that they send it to you. So let's say this is person A and this is person B, and this is the hatred and the shame, right? When someone is screaming at you or torturing you, what they're doing is giving you the hatred and the shame. So then you hold it and they are no longer in possession of it, in theory, right? Now, because they still have the original trauma or the original wound that creates this shame, that creates this anger, it's only a matter of time before the shame and the anger comes back, okay? But this person here is left holding all that shame and that anger. And the only way they're able to take it is if they start believing it's their fault, or if they start feeling bad or guilty or wrong, right? So first of all, you have to give this back. It wasn't yours to begin with, and you're not their connection to God. They had their own connection to God. So they're the only people that can heal their own stuff. You can hold a space for that, but it's their connection with God that will inevitably heal everything back. So the first stage is for you to give all that stuff back, right? And then the second stage is for you to remove yourself from anybody who thinks that you are a dumping ground for their trauma or for their negative energy, and not be available for that anymore, and stop thinking that it's harmless, because it's not harmless. There's only so many of these that you can take before you become sick, or before you stop existing, or before your mental health goes. So this is a very harmful thing, right? You can't just take it and take it and take it, which is what a lot of people do. Journey to Divine Love saying, oh my God, real tears right now. I feel this is hard so deeply, but I feel it's a horrible thing to say no. It's okay. So my love, it's not a horrible thing to say no. No is the most loving response. Okay. So in Course in Miracles, it says to be in connection with God, we give the most loving response. And it was Marianne Williamson that taught me that very often the most loving response is no, right? And the higher somebody vibrates, the more successful they are, the more comfortable they are with that word, right? You have to give the most loving response, and the most loving response is the one that causes the least harm. A blessing in advance is not a blessing. If I give a car to my 2-year-old, that's not a blessing, that's a car accident, right? If you give your business to your mom and your sister, that's not a blessing, that's a court procedure in action. They don't have the amount of understanding, the level of self-responsibility, the level of accountability required to do this. So a blessing out of season is not a blessing, right? And that's why they say a blessing or a curse. And that's it. Trust me, this is like when God says no, when the angels say no, it's for a reason. Okay. But this is your healing, like the feeling horrible saying no. This is your healing. This is where you have to start looking at healing. Being a daughter of a narcissistic family. This is where you have to start getting really comfortable saying no, because you are too easily manipulated by the forces of darkness and by the forces of evil. You are too easily manipulated by bad people if you cannot hold the boundary, especially if you can't hold one even when God is telling you to, when your intuition is as strong as yours, right? So this is a wound, because when you were a kid and you said no, you got more screaming and more abuse and more punishment, and now you're like, well, if I say no, it's just going to get worse. The reality is that if you say no, you're going to take a small hit now to avoid a much bigger hit in the future. Okay. This is yours. This is your business. This was your belief. This is your heart. This is your soul. Do not give it to them. Do not put your your pearls. Okay, that looks like it's working again. Definitely got some psychic attack there from whoever didn't want me clearing Terry. It's okay, Terry. I'm very good at this. Don't worry. They can mess with my connection for a second, but that's about it. Oh, there we go. So we're back to the same thing. This is about boundaries, okay? When we're little and people tell you to be friends with everybody, that's very bad advice, okay? That's very bad advice. You should only be friends with people who love and care about you, period, right? You shouldn't be friends with everybody. You shouldn't be nice to everybody. That's just teaching people pleasing behavior and leaving you vulnerable to a lot of negative behavior. So it's really important to there. So when we look at cliques, we often are like, oh, cliques are terrible and people shouldn't have cliques and blah blah blah. But we don't understand the underlying social reasons for cliques forming. And that is for example, let's say the popular girls at school that form a clique, right? All of those girls have been bullied by other girls for that out of pure jealousy, out of those girls being jealous that those girls are more beautiful, that they are getting more attention from men, that they are potentially getting pretty privilege. And whilst that is hard on their friends that don't feel as attractive, that's also very hard on the girls that are more attractive, right? Because they're losing friends, they're getting sexualized and objectified, they're getting like the gossip and the backstabbing. So there's a reason why those girls that are like seen as more attractive find each other and group together. The group of like geeks and swats, which is the group I was part of, it's the same thing. When you try and be friends with people who are not at the same intellectual level as you, what they try and do is get you to do their homework. They what's the word, exclude you from things unless you like either help them with their homework or you give them the answers to things. They don't like you for you, they like you for your like for your intellect or for your gifts. So cliques don't form because people are stupid. Cliques form because people who have the same kinds of attack are naturally go into resonance and they start to support each other, right? So this energy of being in a group of people where you're the most gifted person in the room or you're the smartest person in the room, that is a recipe for your vibration lowering. And for like, it's what the Buddhists say about, the crabs pulling, one crab climbs out of the bucket and all the other crabs pull it back in. It's like, you cannot be the smartest person in the room, you cannot be the most spiritual person in the room, you cannot be the most abundant person in the room, because if you are, that leaves you vulnerable. It leaves you vulnerable to attack. It brings out the predator energy in other people. There need to be at least 5 or 6 other people that are in that same vibration. Okay. It's not just like people ignoring other people or excluding other people. There's a real need for protection. Humans may be scared of being normal, but they still proactively attack what's different. So it's important to recognize that there's a reason why people group together, and it is for protection, and it is across the whole of nature. Okay. So Terry, you're getting really strong guidance to find other people who are similar to you, right? Who are at least a similar vibration or higher, instead of just people that you're rescuing or helping, right? And to let go of this energy of feeling guilty. It's very hard. I will, like, for me, I still find it hard because it's really hard being in a room where people can tell you their problems and you're not just saying, the solutions or from an arrogant perspective. You genuinely do, right? Not only because you've crawled your way out of the same dark places, but because you've done the emotional processing and the deep spiritual work resolve to break the generational curses, to shift out of it, not just physically, but energetically, and to know they're not ready and they may never be ready. right? And then your job is just to hold space or just to be loving. But you can't do that for 10, 20 people in a friendship group, or even for 5 or 6 people. You'll be exhausted, right? You need to be with people that you can have things in common with. Okay, last one. Nancy's saying, thank you, Sky. I wouldn't have guessed that was the reason. I'll send all the anger and shame back. Yep, send it back under the law of grace, which means it's not designed to cause harm. It's just you recognizing that you can no longer be a dumping ground, and that you are not their connection to God, that they have their own connection, and that when they're ready, that they can process this. So under grace means it neutralizes the karma, and it means you're not doing it out of bad intent or as a punishment. It's genuinely coming from the recognition that this was out of the laws of the universe. It was against your free will. They should never have transferred it to you in the first place. Journey to Divine Love is saying, I thank you, and I can't thank you enough, Sky, for confirming what I already knew in my heart to be true. You're welcome, beautiful. If I can save anyone from making the mistakes I've made, I will. Yeah. Learning so much from these sessions. Yeah, it's amazing how much when we apply spiritual solutions to other people's problems, that we figure out ways of applying them to our own. Love is practical. That's one of the reasons I love angel readings and Q&A. Okay. Hi, Sky. I need you to enlighten for my future career path. Should I change job or change career completely? Thank you. I'm going to ask. You're the last one for today, my darling, because then I have to run and do. Okay, so it's definitely a career change. Getting our strong arms will hold you close and protect you. God is hearing things about you. Like there are things happening around you that aren't safe for you, and you're being protected. So you might feel like you're out in the cold in the moment, but you are really being protected. Better things are opening up for you. And you can see the doll angel. Wherever you are in the world, an angel is by your side. So this is really like an energy of call on them for help. And start. So whenever you want to move out of a place quickly, don't curse it, bless it. Right? Stop saying this is such a terrible place to work. There's such annoying people. Don't curse it, bless it. Whenever you want to move out of a place quickly, bless it, don't curse it. Right? Start saying, oh, thank you so much for everything you provided for me. Flood the place with unconditional love. Say thank you. I'm ready to let go. Do your cord cutting, but keep saying thank you for releasing me. Thank you for letting me go. Thank you. This transition is so easy. Thank you. This is happening for my highest and best good. Thank you for letting me know this is no longer the best place for me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Terry saying, yes, that makes a lot of sense. I tend to focus on negative people instead of focusing on those who genuinely aligned with. Yeah. So even with clients, that's a bad idea. Like there's no space where God wants you in places where everybody is of a different vibration. Even Jesus had 12 disciples. Okay. So your inner circle as a healer has to be tight, and it has to be your protection, because there are real dangers in the world, both spiritually and emotionally and energetically, and you must be protected. The reason we've lost some of the best healers in the world, from Dr. Sebi to Martin Luther King, to Princess Diana, is exactly because they were unprotected. They underestimated the level of danger that they were in. God will not underestimate the level of danger that you are in, and he will protect you, but you have to let him. You have to call him in. Okay. And that's really, really, really important. And the higher you go, the more well-known you become. You do require security. You do require protection. And it doesn't come from a place of fear. It just comes from a place of recognition. You don't have an immune system because you're fearful. You have an immune system because you need one. And your protection in physical life is a representation of your metaphysical immune system. Right? It's just important. So let's do our closing prayer. O great Spirit, Father, Sky, Mother, Earth, the winds, the waters, my Father, my Mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives, and we thank you for these good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended and our pain be lifted to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, Amen, Namaste.